Okay, so we're going to multiply fractions. The great thing about this is once you've added and subtracted fractions, this is way easier. So kids love to learn how to do this because it's just easier than adding, because you don't have to find a common denominator and you just set it up and all you have to do is multiply, and it makes it really easy. Okay, so we're going to start here and you just multiply straight across. So 4 times 10 is 40. 5 times 12, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. Again, you have to look and see, can we reduce this? Well, both of these numbers end in a 0. So what do we know we can do? What do we know for sure is a factor of both these numbers? Well, we know for sure 10 is, okay? So let's just start with 10. Okay, so let's do divided by 10, so that's our super one. So 4 divided by 10 is 4, and 60 divided by 10 is 6. But are we done? No, we're not done, because 4 and 6 are both even. So what can we still divide this by? Both of these numbers still have 2 in common as a factor. So we're going to do divided by 2 over 2. Okay, 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. This fraction we know is our lowest terms because it's 1 away, so we know we're finished, okay? So let me show you a different way to do this to where you get a little bit smaller answer so you don't have to reduce. So you can absolutely get your answer and reduce your fractions with a common factor or a super one, or you can actually do your simplifying right here before you start. So if you look at your fractions, you can say, okay, I'm going to try to reduce diagonally. So I'm going to see, do these two numbers have anything in common? Do they have a factor in common? Well, 5 goes into 10, so you know that both of these numbers have a factor of 5, right? So if you can find a common factor in your numbers diagonally, you can actually reduce right here. So if you know 5 goes into both of these numbers, you can divide both of these by 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. And 10 divided by 5 is 2. Now you have to divide by the same factor, okay? So they have to have a common factor. So 4 and 12 have a common factor of 2. They also have a common factor of 4 because obviously 4 goes into 4 and 4 goes into 12. So we can reduce both of these numbers by 4. Same thing. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So now we've done our simplification here before we even got started, and now we're going to multiply straight across. So 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3, and did we get the same answer? Yes, we did exactly the same thing, except for we just did it on the front end, okay? So our answer is 2/3. So let's look at this one. We've got 8 and 4 and 2 and 12, so we can multiply straight across just like we did. 8 times 2 is 16. 12 times 4, 12, 24, 36, 48. But we obviously already know we can reduce those. 1, they're even. 2, we know 4 times 4 is 16. We know 4 goes into 48. We know 8 times 2 is 16, and we know 8 goes into 48. So we already know that we can reduce this with a common denominator of 8. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, 8 goes into 16 2 times. 8 goes into 48, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48 goes in 6 times. So we're still not even done because look, we're in the same situation, guys. We still have 2 even numbers. So we know that we're going to have to reduce 2 6 again by 2 over 2, which is going to end us up with 1/3. Okay, so let's look again. Let's do the same thing. Let's see if we can simplify this before we multiply it, okay? So we have 8 and 4. Well, what's their greatest common factor? Well, obviously 4 goes into 8, so the greatest common factor is going to be 4. So we're going to divide both of these by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Well, these are both even, and this is a 2, so we know we can reduce both of these by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Okay, we're going to multiply across. 2 times 1 is 2. 6 times 1 is 6. We're still going to have to reduce that with another super one of 2, but again, we're doing that now with a really small fraction, and we know that we can use 2 over 2, and we're still going to end up with 1/3. Okay? All right, so let's look here. 1 and 7 don't have any common factors. Okay, obviously 1 goes into everything, but 1 doesn't change anything. 6 and 4, what common factor do they have? They have a 2. So we could reduce both of these by 2, but first let's just multiply it straight across. Let's do it the original way first. So 6 times 1 is 6, 7 times 4 is 28. We've got 2 even numbers, so we know that we have a 2 that can be reduced. We know that they share a common factor of 2. It's the only thing they're going to share because 6 doesn't go into 28 and 3 doesn't go into 28. So we know that we can reduce this with, again, our super 1 of 2. So this is a 3. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 goes into 8 4 times. We can't reduce 3 over 14 because 3 is prime. Okay, so we know we're finished. So let's come back and let's do the reduction here on the front end. Okay, this is, can't do anything with this. We know these have a common factor of 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, wait a minute. What did I do wrong? Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry. So 3 times 1 is 3. And 7 times 2 is 14. And that was the fraction that we had a while ago. Okay, so again, same thing. We're just doing our simplifying on the front end instead of the back end, okay? All right, so we're here. We have a 2 and a 9. They do not have any common factors. We have a 3 and a 7. They're both prime, so they don't have any common factors. So the only thing we can do is multiply straight across. So 2 times 7 is 14. 9 times 3 is 27. So our factors of 14 are 2 times 7. That's the only thing that makes 14 besides 14. And none of those factors go into 27 because it's odd. So 2 doesn't go in. 7 doesn't go in. 7, 14, 21, 28. So that is our lowest terms fraction, and we are finished.